All right, guys, welcome back to Modern Day Debates. Today we got another flat Earth versus globe discussion debate today. We got QOP back again. This is my second time hosting him. Welcome back. And then we got Ammon for the second time in what, a week?
2 weeks.
2 weeks, two different topics. This man's going. So today we're gonna do 5-10 minute openings. You don't have to use the whole 10 minutes. Some of you will, and then 60-minute discussion, and then a 30-minute or longer Q&A. We appreciate everybody in the chat. Like the video. If you haven't got tickets to DebateCon 8, I recommend doing it. We just got, as you can see right over here, Jay Dyer on the list here with going against Jake Brancatella, and that's going to be a really solid debate. Interested to see that one live. Come meet us. Come meet James at the DebateCon in Dallas on the 25th and 26th. Without further ado, we're going to get into it. I'm going to start a 10-minute timer. I believe, Q, you're going first, right?
Whatever.
All right. Whenever you're ready, you can start sharing your screen and getting after it.
Okay, cool. You got my screen share?
Yep.
All right. So what is up, MDD? My name is QUp. I'm the flat earther that made Witsit cry. To see that video on other craziness, check my link in the channel info. So my epistemological framework for knowing things is through empiricism, which is the view that experience is the primary source and only justification of knowledge about the world. Most Globers' framework is just appealing to the ad hoc circular reasoning of their government authorities because of the protecting daddy vibe they get. Oh, I can't believe I wrote that. The flat Earth proof I'm going to share today is regarding how they claim to measure Earth's motion with interferometers, such as the ones inside a ring laser gyroscope. I will show the history of how they slowly move the goalposts, and I will explain how Einstein's theories were merely ad hoc band-aids to take these null results and present them as predicted globe motion proofs. So, I see. So is my screen share on the presentation, not me?
Yep. I'm going to put our videos in the corner if you want, or I can just leave it on the presentation only.
I don't care.
I'll put us in the bottom or the top right-hand corner, just so you're aware.
Okay. So this is on interferometry mostly, but yeah. That didn't. Well, that was weird. I clicked It's the first time I'm using this software. I clicked next and it didn't move.
I think you'll just have to scroll if it's not in presentation mode.
Oh. And it zoomed in. That is weird.
You'll probably want to use that little bar at the bottom, slide it over to the left a little bit.
I don't know why it zoomed. Oh, I think there's a zoom thing here.
There you go.
Alright. Sorry, I'm figuring this is the first time I've used this to make a presentation, so. Alright, so to start off, the double slit experiment from Young in 1801, that is the first interferometer. Usually people don't call it an interferometry test, but it's looking for interference patterns of light. So the apparatus was stationary, the beam path was not circulating, and the interference fringe pattern was stationary. So that means the fringe shift pattern is not showing basically any displacement from different speeds of light, because it's not. Usually interferometers have the light basically bouncing around mirrors in a circular fashion of some sort. With a double slit, they're just shooting light straight through slits in front of them, and you're just looking at what's shown on the back display. So that's an interferometry test, and there's no fringe pattern show. Well, there's always a fringe pattern, but the fringe pattern isn't showing basically like a Sagnac effect, which would um, which would point to there being basically a discrepancy between the speeds of the two lights. So the first real interferometer test from Fizeau in 1851 used moving water alongside the beam's path. So there's basically two beams splitting, going around, and there's one path of the water on one side basically going in one direction. So they're basically testing how light is behaving traveling through water and against water. And so at the time, basically back then, everybody believed that the ether existed. They used it in buildings. Nowadays, we got this atomist theory where electrons are shooting through cables, yet nobody can generate their own electricity from the atmosphere everywhere, even there's lightning and all this electricity everywhere. So these are the stupid people that believed in the ether. But so the two postulates of the different ether theories were, one, the undulatory theory, and the other one was the emission theory, which is pretty much like particle physics, the ball photon shooting around with some ability to self-propel itself and no field needed. And this is what they basically believe now, which is completely ridiculous. Light and electricity both move like waves. There's no actual evidence that they're ever in a particle state. That's another discussion, though, as far as the double slit. So for this interferometer, the undulatory theory, basically the prediction for the undulatory wave theory, which is the ether theory, the theory that there's an etheric field everywhere and light is basically traveling like a wave through it, or the light is basically, perturbing this field, which is the thing that waves. So in quantum and modern, physics, there's a photon that shoots, and then it sometimes has wave-like properties when in different situations. It makes literally no sense. It breaks laws of logic and, non-contradiction theory, which is like the first law of logic. But that's what people believe because, that's kind of like a complicated, that's like a double slit topic that we would have to discuss on why people believe the particle wave duality. But so for this, basically undulatory ether theory matches prediction, atomist theory doesn't match prediction. 100 years later, sorry, Einstein 1905. I think that date might be wrong. I don't even think he was fucking old enough back then. Maybe it's from 1905, but basically Einstein came up with this ad hoc theory that speed doesn't add linearly at high precision because time and space change between frames. So he basically has this space-time paradox where there's different time frames, and depending on motion, from different inertial reference frames, people are basically experiencing the now at different times. But there's basically no universal now in Einstein's new theories. So pretty much. That was for the ether. We won that one. And Foucault's rotating mirror interferometer. The emission theory predicted the speed of light would be greater moving through water than through air. The undulatory ether wave theory predicted the opposite. Speed of light through air would be faster. This interferometer measured that light travels slower in water than air. So that was another win for the undulatory ether wave theory prediction. And Einstein's ad hoc explanation was merely after adopting all of Maxwell's equations. So for the most part, Einstein didn't even come up with any of the math for any of the things he said. He just basically took all the math from everyone else and just assigned like this reification model where space a concept, time a concept, are turned into like a literal field, and basically it explains away like the problem for the globe as far as many different things. So and he threw away the ether with no experiment himself that to disprove that the ether existed. So all right, so with with stellar aberration, which is basically um, a little bit of motion from the stars on a cyclical. It's a cyclical pattern. On a cyclical yearly basis. You get this thing called stellar aberration. Um, Now it's predicted by the globe model because basically, they witnessed it, so they added it to their model, and that's how you get like a lot of these asymmetries from the globe model of like the the oval shaped orbits and all these things. But so for they did a water filled telescope experiment to test basically interferometry, looking at aberration of stars. And when they did this, the first time they did it with Francis Arago, the emission theory, which is the ether wave theory, predicted that stellar aberration would change when viewed through a telescope filled with water. Sorry. What did I say? No, emission atomic theory. That's the ball particle theory for the ether back then, but it's still the beginning of it. So they predicted that stellar aberration would change when viewed through a telescope filled with water. The undulatory theory, the etheric wave theory, they predicted the opposite. The result was no change. So
About a
that
minute
matches
and a half left.
that matches the prediction for the ether theory. Einstein Airy's failure basically did the same thing because it was a huge problem for their model. They wanted to retest it a little bit with better equipment, and they got the same result. Michelson-Morley is the big one. It's hard to like skim through this one, but basically this is the one where they're trying to set it up so that they can actually measure like Earth's motion. And they got a null result. If you look through right here, the predicted amount for these people that believe the Earth was a ball moving was 0.04 of the distance between interference fringes, and they got basically 20 times that, or 20 times less than that. I forget. I don't have enough time to check the. Einstein came up, and then this is Einstein admitting that this Michelson-Morley null result of measuring Earth's motion is the reason what brought him to his theory of special relativity. So that's not how you do science. That's how you just make up excuses, 50 years later or whatever. So this is a picture of Einstein's space-time field. It's a reification. It's a most epic reification fallacy ever created. And on the right here is the literal geometry that he used for his space-time field that you can see in a ferrocell. So this is just a light that has a bunch of ferrofluid, which is microscopic little pieces of metal, which basically they align with the magnetic field, and you can see the actual etheric field. You can, like, I'm making a couple of these. You can literally, like, you're looking into the actual black.
I don't want to cut
black
you off,
hole.
but that was 10 minutes.
Okay, well,
If Ammon wants to give you another 30 seconds, if there was any other like super pertinent things, I'll allow it. But otherwise, we'll just go ahead and hand it over.
Yeah, he
here.
can go ahead and finish up his slide there.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, so that's an actual field you're looking at. On the left, there's just a conceptual field matching the same geometry. Here is an etheric flat Earth model when positioned the planets or the luminaries over a geocentric flat Earth. You get basically these flower of life patterns which match like the magnetic field. Yeah, so blah, blah, blah. In conclusion, all these instruments used to measure Earth's motion are all required to be put into motion themselves to detect anything. Such as with the Foucault's pendulums, the fringe shift with interferometry, or to get a boost in electricity in your power lines with induction coils. So these results from these instruments are claimed to be proof the Earth is moving only after Einstein rewrote physics. And I'll end there since I'm over.
All right. Thank you for that. All right, Ammon, we'll go ahead and kick it over to you. But first, just want to remind the chat, please like the video, get it out there. And I do believe it's fine if MC Tune restreams it. It's not a problem. We're not going to copyright strike anybody.
I want the super chats from Jack Feder, though, make tune.
Okay. Let me just make sure your presentation's centered. Looks good. Okay. Whenever you're ready, I will go ahead and start the timer.
Sweet. So let's talk about some observations that we can make in this conversation. Really, there's two options in this conversation, either flat or globe. I mean, you can make the argument that it's a velociraptor or a donut. However, those break down much faster than the flat Earth. So what we do when we wonder on the shape of the Earth is we start looking around. And so I went to California and I looked over at the ocean, and I noticed that there were some ships out way in the distance that were partially obscured. Like we had a nice, very crisp horizon, and then part of the ship was below that horizon. And I looked around, no one else was panicking at the giant sinking ship. So obviously the ship was not sinking. It was okay that it was below the horizon. And then over on the left, we see there's other examples of other things being obstructed by the horizon. These big windmills here, both obstructed bottom up by the horizon. And so this kind of puts a kink in the flat Earth explanation of the Earth. Obviously, if it were flat over water, we shouldn't see things being obstructed by the water. So let's go to other observations that you can make. I am in Utah, so I'm in the northern hemisphere. And so when I watch a sunset, the sun sets from left to right? So I've got this little arrow there showing the path of the sun starts on your left shoulder and then goes as it sets down to the right. Now this is observable fact. Anyone that lives in the northern hemisphere is going to see something similar to this. I live in Utah. I verified this is what we see. Now, so far with the flat Earth model, this could work as it's going around the circle of whatever the flat Earth is. So put a pin in this, we'll come back to it. Another observation you can make from the northern hemisphere is looking at the stars. We notice that stars always rotate. This is clockwise. Sorry, this is counterclockwise. Nope, that's clockwise. I have to look at it. Whichever direction it is. Stars rotate around the center point in the northern hemisphere. Again, for a flat Earth model, the ones that I've been given, the flat Earth models that have been shown to me, this works. It's a flat plane with a dome over it, and things spin around a center point. And so that's another observation that we can make in the northern hemisphere, which, again, on a flat Earth, you can make the argument that this is what we would expect. So let's put a pin in this one as well. We'll come back to it. So I'm in the northern hemisphere. I've got to go somewhere else and make some observations. So I flew to Australia. This is me in Australia. That is a picture of an albino kangaroo. And over on the right, I'm actually recording a video that debunks angels of light. In fact, I'm doing MC Toon was walking around in Antarctica. I was actually in Australia at the same time they were in Antarctica. He was walking around Antarctica, and his shadow moved from the left or to the right to the left. So I actually recreated that in this video. So one of the things I did down in Australia. What I also did down in Australia is I looked out the window as I was flying. Now this is on the way to Australia. Don't pay much attention to the coordinates. They were not accurate. However, you can see with this Theodolite app, I'm here looking over at the sunrise out the window. And you can see that the sun is very, very obviously below eye level. You've got over on left and right that we are at eye level. The sun is below eye level. And you can also see that the horizon itself is also below her eye level. Both impossibilities on a flat Earth, but expected in the globe. Now, back to our sunsets observation. In the northern hemisphere, the sun sets from your left shoulder to your right. While I was in Australia, I watched the sunset. And guess what? It set the opposite direction from your right shoulder down to the left, which is the opposite of the northern hemisphere and opposite of what the flat Earth would predict. The flat Earth given, if you want me to address a different model, you will have to provide the other model. This goes against it because on a flat Earth, we should expect it to actually cut more to the right. We should see a wider starting from the left to the right as we go. But it's the exact opposite. So they're moving in opposite directions. Additionally, if you stand on the equator, the sun is going to set from straight on and go straight down. Now, these are all different directions for the sun setting. Now, they seem to be setting in different directions. The only thing that we need to do to make these line up is we take the one on the right and we tilt it to match the globe. The one on the left, tilt it to match the globe. That's the only thing that we need to do to make these three observations become in line with each other. That's not something that Flat Earth is able to explain. Why the sun sets from your right shoulder down to your left. Now, another observation that I made while in Australia was I looked at the stars. Now, I didn't take a star trail picture while I was down there. However, I did note the direction the stars were turning. The stars still rotated around a center point in the southern hemisphere. That point is south of where I was standing, not north like you would expect in the northern hemisphere, meaning that there is absolutely a point of rotation in the southern hemisphere. Now, I know this picture is from Chile, but it's a really pretty one that I wanted to show, but it's about the same latitude as I was in Australia, or at least the southern hemisphere. Now, these star rotations are actually rotating in two opposite directions. This is a similar observation, a star trail, made this time from the equator. While we're in the equator, if we get a wide enough field of view, we can actually see both of the rotations of the stars at their center points, or near to it. So you can see over on the right, we've got the northern hemisphere rotating around its center point and the southern hemisphere rotating around their center point. This is an impossibility on the flat Earth. What we would see on a flat Earth is a center point in the north and then wide sweeps that get even wider as you go out to the south. Now, if this is not your flat Earth model, you will have to provide me with a different model because any flat earther that I've ever talked to has had this model. And then that's actually it for my presentation. So I'm gonna go ahead and yield the rest of my time, and I'm gonna stop sharing the screen.
All righty, man. Appreciate that opening. Appreciate both of you guys being here today. We're gonna kick it over into the open discussion, and whoever wants to start that off, I'll just kind of let y'all have it. We'll put an hour on the clock here. Let's see this. I'll just double type 60 right there. Boom. Oh, not 6 minutes. Okay, go ahead whenever you're ready.
So that was a lot of stuff. So that's gonna take a while if we go through all of those. But for the most part, all those things you think are exclusive to the globe model are based on your assumptions of how optics and the sky works. But so as far as my topic, how do you want to divvy this up? Because you have a lot of topics you brought up. I just have one basically. Do you want to start with interferometry? Because I'm sure most people don't know much about it.
So I'm not too familiar with interferometry at all. So if you want to talk about it, I'm not going to be too knowledgeable about it. I don't use interferometry as a proof for the globe.
But you showed us a lot of things that can be explained in lots of different ways, and you claim that they can only be explained in your model. But I didn't make a baseless assertion like that, or add my own bias into like my presentation. I just presented basically what the history was. So you don't disagree with the basically every interferometry experiment went, you know, for the ether prediction.
I
Or
can't disagree or agree with it. Like I said, I don't know a whole lot about interferometry, so I'm not going to make a blanket statement without knowing
yeah.
about the topic.
So if we just
So
grant yeah, if we just grant that that's true, then you would
I'm not
agree
just
that at
going to
least
grant something that's true, like the ether.
for the
I mean, you don't have
I didn't,
proof of ether.
I didn't really say that. I just said, would you grant that, I presented the correct, how everything went, that the predictions were, and both of the undulatory and the emission theory were based on an etheric, basically, field theory. Einstein's the one that got rid of the field completely because obviously they don't want people
Because it wasn't
no
working. Yeah,
wasn't working for the globe model.
it wasn't working at all. They couldn't find the ether.
They couldn't find the ether. Could you elaborate, please?
So again, I don't know a whole lot about
I mean,
how the interferometry works, but they didn't find the ether. In fact,
they
the
weren't looking for the
Michelson
ether. They assumed the ether on both
The
both of their.
Michelson-Morley experiment was specifically trying to capture the Earth moving through the ether, correct?
Yes.
And they weren't able to do that.
And so either the ether doesn't exist or the Earth's not moving.
Okay, so prove ether.
Prove ether?
Yeah.
I just said I'm making a ferrocell. I showed you a picture of a ferrocell. I could show you the field from a magnetic field.
So magnetics is not the same as ether. Having a
It,
ferrocell is not ether. Having a magnetic field using ferrofluid is not ether. Those are two different
you're just
things.
claiming that. You're just claiming that. You haven't. Why?
Okay,
Why are
show
you?
me
Why are
show
we
me the
differentiating them?
ether and because they're not the same thing.
They are the same
Um,
thing.
you're saying
So
that
here, I'll
ether
explain.
is magnetics.
So let's electromagnetics. Even the mainstream couples electricity and magnetics into one because they know they're tied together. That's the ether. So you can call it
That's
electromagnetics.
the
You
ether.
can call
So
everything
electromagnetism is ether.
we are in a field of ether. We are ether. So
We are
electromagnet.
ether.
We
So
are
you're
ether. Yes,
disagreeing what Michelson and Morley thought the ether was. All those
a
experiments
little bit. Yes, a little
assumed
bit. Yes.
all those. Yeah, then why would you use those experiments that don't prove what your worldview is?
I'm
You're
just
saying
showing you
we're
the
all
history.
ether.
The
We're all. You're saying that we're all ether, but that's not what those experiments were trying to test. They were trying to test a physical.
I didn't say that.
Okay, cool. Then why would you
Right.
bring up the test for ether if they're not
The
trying to prove your worldview of ether?
the prediction for light being a wave was proven through all the predictions being matching the results.
Okay. Great. That doesn't
Okay,
prove
so
ether.
as far as you saying that magnetism has nothing to do with the ether, they're separate things. In the word ether, eighth, the number eight literally comes from the ether. The symbol of the eight is the magnetic field. It's a literal toroid. Like that's the infinity symbol that has to do with literally
The toroid is an
the
infinity
magnetic
symbol.
the inside the hyperboloid inside a toroid is
Show
an
me.
infinity symbol. It's basically the funnel from the space-time.
That's
Two of
not
them.
an infinity symbol. That is a funnel going down. It's a toroid is a donut,
It's
dude. I am very familiar with
the
donuts.
yeah the outside. So the hyperboloid is the eight.
There's
Basically
no eight there.
the
It's going out like a donut shape. There's no eight there.
eight is going infinitely going in through intersecting through the middle because that is basically counter space, the inside the middle of the magnetic field.
Okay, that's not what a toroid field is. That's not how magnetics works.
Okay, you're just basically asserting lots of things. All
So
right,
are
so
you. You're basically asserting that we're all ether and that electromagnetism is ether, and then you're using ether in the same sentence as you're talking about Michelson, Morley, and Airy's failure. You're talking about that ether, which definitely wasn't electromagnetics, but you're saying we're all ether somehow. So there's this magical ether that you cannot prove, you cannot show me, but you're asserting baselessly that we are all ether. I'm ether. That was your claim.
okay, that was like a lot of random stuff. So pretty much you said you don't. I mean, you know like what Globers say about Michelson-Morley. You just failed to prove to discover the ether. As far as you understand that a ring laser gyro uses the interferometer basically inside to basically, detect Earth's motion, they claim.
Mhm.
Okay, so if the Michelson-Morley, which is an interferometer, failed to measure Earth's motion, why do you believe a ring laser gyro can prove Earth's motion?
Did I invoke the ring laser gyroscope in my opening or just now?
Okay.
You
Okay, so how
asked me.
about
You asked me. Does the ring laser gyroscope use interferometry? I believe that it does. I'm not 100% sure, but sure.
okay? Um, how about the pen? Do you know about the Foucault's pendulum?
Yep.
Okay, so um, basically, so my main thing with how you guys claim to measure Earth's motion, the apparatus has to be moving every time. So the pendulum can't just
There's
be
no problem
laying
with
there.
that.
There's no problem with what?
There's no problem with the apparatus having to move in order to measure motion. That's the same thing how we measure speed. We have to have something moving in order to measure speed. That's why cops use radars to measure speed. That's why you have a little thing in your car that moves around that measures speed. We have to have motion in order to measure speed. There's no problem
Why?
with having to have the Foucault pendulum actually swinging back and forth in order to measure speed.
So when you're driving in a car and you have a Foucault's pendulum hanging inside, you have to start it swinging to detect a precession to know if you're turning?
Those are two different things.
What are two different things?
The motion of a car and the spinning of the
Not
earth.
not different at all. The
Oh, it is.
car
Yes.
the car is in a different reference frame than the Earth, and the plumb bob will basically, sag to the side if it's just hanging there. It doesn't need to be
How
swinging.
much is it supposed to sag to the side?
Depends how much you turn.
On the Earth, the globe, assuming the globe, how much is it supposed to sag to the side given a 1 kilogram ball?
The the amount of it sagging to the side should match the amount it basically precesses.
No. So for the audience that may not know what is going on here, he's talking about a pendulum that is on a large string with a ball in the center. We can actually use it as it swings back and forth. It will precess, and depending on your latitude, it precesses at a certain rate around in a circle, and that is a measurement of the Coriolis effect created by the spin of the Earth. Now, what he is saying that the Earth is constantly
Can you
spinning.
debate
So
me and
when
not audience? Talk to the audience like you're giving a
no,
presentation.
I'm explaining. This is for the audience. I'm explaining so everyone is
they're not
on.
2-year-olds. You could just debate me.
Calm down. So I'm just explaining this whole for anyone that may not know, because I don't want to just leave the audience not knowing what's going on.
All right, well, let's bring it back
Is that
to the
me?
topic here.
You lag him out.
Wasn't me.
He rage quit. I went.
I'm gonna pause the timer, and let's see
It should count
if
for his time.
I mean it's both of y'all's time currently. Oh, there he is. Oh, froze again.
He was in the middle of grandstanding and posturing himself as the explainer, talking to the audience like they're children, basically.
Ammon,
Trying to
can
get
you hear
that
us?
daddy
Yep,
vibe.
I can hear you now.
All right, I'm gonna start the time back up. I paused it. We're at 49 minutes. Guys, this is a good opportunity to get some super chats in, and I will remind you if they're just straight insults, I'm not gonna read them. So make it pertinent to the topic. Attack the arguments, not the. No, I'm trying to get ahead of it in case these are contentious topics. This and religion typically. Politics too, but surprisingly people a little bit more topic adjacent. But yeah, attack the arguments, not the people. I'm gonna start the timer again, and you guys can pick up where you left off. It was Foucault's pendulum. Excuse me.
Okay, so I don't know where we cut off, but your assertion is that we've got the ball on the bottom of our string here, and as the Earth, since it's constantly rotating, it should slightly be backwards behind the Earth because it's rotating. Just like if you're in a car and you're turning, it should kind of slide over to the whichever way that you're turning opposite,
Very
right?
good, Steelman.
Okay, fantastic. Now, do you know how much force is created when it is just sitting still like that? Do you know how much force there is?
In the globe model?
Yeah, in the globe, because your assertion is that in the globe model, the pendulum should actually kind of be backwards behind because the Earth is spinning,
It
right?
shouldn't be plumb.
Right, exactly. So how much is that force that causes it to not be plumb to the left or right?
I don't have the number.
Okay, then how can you assert that it's supposed to be this way if you don't actually know if the force created by the Earth's spin like that when it's staying still is more than the force that it is required to overcome the inertia of the ball? If you don't have that number, why make the baseless assertion?
Okay, well, will a plumb bob ever not, move a little bit when you're in a car turning?
Right, I've given you that it does do that. Now, in order
Okay,
for
so why
the
doesn't it do that on Earth?
because the force of the when the pendulum is just sitting there not moving of the Earth constantly rotating is not enough to overcome the inertia of the ball. I calculated it's like 0.0014 newtons, which is less than like if a fly were to go and fly by the ball. There's more happening if you step inside of the room than the force given from the Earth rotating around.
So, do you know the spacing between the precession lines on a Foucault's pendulum?
The spacing between the precession lines, what does that mean?
How much space is there between the precession?
Are you talking about how many degrees per hour it moves? Because there's not lines on the precession. It'll precess at a certain degree per hour.
Yeah, well, if you put it over sand, it's making lines. That's what I was
Right. Yes. But those are
Yeah, I was
just a
just
degree
asking,
per
yeah.
hour. It
How
depends on
many
your
degrees?
latitude. You can actually use the Foucault pendulum to calculate your latitude on the Earth, which is something that you cannot do if the Earth were flat.
You say that a lot. So, why do you say that?
Because it's true.
Because it's true. So, are your
Yeah,
so what
so
happened?
let me
Well, you
explain. I'll explain a little bit more than just because it's
you already
true.
said it doesn't work. What?
It doesn't work on the flat Earth. Would you like me to explain why?
Yeah,
Okay,
but you don't.
so
First of all,
we
you don't even
know
know.
that this
Wait,
is.
wait, 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 wait. Am I
You told me
lagging?
yes,
No, I was going to ask you what is. You don't even know my flat Earth model. So for why would you even say that it doesn't work on the flat Earth?
because if the Earth was flat, it wouldn't work. No matter
So you
what model you chose, flat not working. It
That's a
only
very,
works
very
on the
good
globe.
baseless assertion. Really good. You keep
Okay,
baselessly
great.
asserting things.
Give me your flat Earth model.
I don't need a model just to know that there's
Then
different
how can I
explanations for
address the
things.
statement if you won't give me what model you
Okay,
cling to?
so as far as the latitude dependency of the different effects on the pendulum, let's imagine, right? Let's imagine the sky had different forces at different latitudes. That
What
affect the pen
forces
that
would that
affect
be?
that affect so let's imagine that it's an etheric effect causing the pendulum to precess. Let's imagine it. Okay? Let's imagine my flat earth model right now, okay? Because you say this couldn't work on a flat earth model. Now let's imagine mine. The sky is vortexual and different parts the basically the latitudes and the tropics are basically closer and farther out regions of this vortex. And just like in a tornado, there's different degrees of force at different parts of the tornado, correct?
Sure.
Okay, so that's how the sky, the heavens would work, where the equator has very lots. There's innumerable amounts of things at the equator that are extremely bizarre and don't work in the globe model. Like all we know is that latitude dependent, we have different effects, and you guys have not proven that these aren't etheric effects. Einstein didn't do any experiments. He just forced space-time field to us because of propaganda.
Okay, you have to prove that it is etheric effects. That's how burden of proof works. Now, the problem with what you're claiming is if there is this vortexual, so we'll say that you've got your flat Earth here at the center, and then you've got this vortexual stuff going around it. The cause of this vortex wouldn't be greatest at the equator. It would be greatest. It would be greater out even more south that you go. But what we find is that we go out to the equator, that's where we get the most precession, and then as we go back towards the poles, we get less precession, which is exactly predicted by the globe. In fact, we don't need to know any magic ethereal vortexual thing that makes up everyone, but you cannot prove. We just need to know, is Earth globe? Then we can calculate it based off of the precession.
Okay, but within interferometry, you'd agree that the predictions for the globe didn't match up when they were testing these things.
I don't know much about the interferometry. What predictions for the globe were there when they were testing?
I presented them.
Okay. Say them again. Okay,
so
let's
you-
go.
so
The
you-
Michelson-Morley.
so
What was
real
the
quick.
prediction about the globe in Michelson-Morley?
The amount of the fringe pattern, basically there was a number for each prediction, and it was less of a fringe pattern displacement as predicted by the globe.
That doesn't sound like you knew what that was. Okay, explain to me like I'm five. What was the globe prediction from the Michelson-Morley
You're
experiment?
extremely condescending, and I don't know why you're saying I don't. It sounded like you said you don't know anything about this, but you think you're just asserting that it sounded like I didn't know what I was talking about. Is
Yep.
that your argument? That's just
Because
called
I
an ad
actually
hominem.
I asked you. That's not an ad hominem. An ad
You're
hominem
talking
is
about me and
insulting
not
you.
my
An
argument.
ad hominem is insulting you and saying therefore you are wrong.
You
This
don't have to
that
add
was
that at
just
the end.
an insult.
You
They
don't have
are
to add
two
that at the
different things. Do not try to invoke fallacies that you do not know how they work. Now, again, what is the flat or the globe Earth prediction from Michelson and Morley? What were they trying to test there?
Let's pause and stop the condescending attitude.
Will you stop the condescending attitude?
Don't fucking talk to me like I'm a little kid, dude.
Wow. Okay, so you told me to stop the condescension,
listen.
and I said
Wait.
for you to
Pause.
stop it, and you swore
Stop
at me.
talking to me like that. Pause. 100 times you've said that these things don't work on the flat Earth model. I told you I have a different flat Earth model. Now you said I have to prove this model. First you said there's basically no flat Earth model that can explain this. Now I have one. You're saying I have to prove the ether. I said I can prove the ether with the ferrocell. You're just assuming the ether has nothing to do with the magnetic field. They're somehow separate. How are they separate exactly? You never told me how the ether. Why is the ether separate than the magnetic field?
Because we can test the magnetic field. We showed that the ether does not exist through testing. Those things, the thing that they were testing.
It sounds like you don't know what you're talking about. I'm going to use your argument.
Okay, so when they were testing the motion of the Earth through the luminous ether. Is that correct? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Michelson
Okay.
Morley.
Great. Okay. So, are you saying that that they were testing us moving through a magnet, through an electromagnetic field? Is that what they were testing? Or were they testing? They thought that there was actually an ether particle that we were moving through, as if we were moving through water, but through this ether, because they thought that
I got
light
I got
had
your
to
argument.
travel.
I understand your argument. You're straw manning again.
I'm not straw manning.
Yes, you don't. Oh, you know that you're not straw manning. I'm going to explain to you you're a straw man, but you know.
Okay, explain the
you
straw
somehow
man.
know me and know you're not straw man.
Explain the straw man.
Okay, stop the condescension.
You're condescending me.
I'm not
I'm
being
giving back
condescending
the
at
same
all.
energy
I'm
you're giving me.
presenting my theories.
I'm giving
You're
you
saying
the energy you're giving me.
You know you wouldn't act like this in real life, dude. It's so weird that
All
like
right, guys,
you, like act like that.
let's try to keep it on the topic.
It's just so strange. He's
I-
like he would never talk to anyone like this in real life. It's crazy, dude. All right, so what was I gonna say?
Act
So
like you know me.
he, I could tell, dude. You come on, I can tell what you like. So what was the straw man? Regarding the okay, yes. So me presenting the history of interferometry, and just because I'm saying that their predictions from the undulatory theory and the emission theory matched the undulatory theory's predictions were matching every single time, that doesn't mean that's my theory. I'm just showing that that theory versus the atomic theory, they're both not, so for the most part they're both not our models. Like, you believe in space-time, they didn't have space-time back then. The emission theory was the baby version of basically the atomist theory. The undulatory theory is an incorrect version of how I think the ether works. So yes, when they talked about the ether, they were describing just the sky vortex. When I talk about the ether, I might be talking about the sky vortex, a little magnetic field. It's all the same. But yes, the ether, according to them at that time, was just the sky vortex.
Great, and that's what I was saying was different. Was that
But that's
the
not
ether
my
that they were
position.
that when you presented,
You wouldn't say shh to a
this
man
I
in
would.
real life. You wouldn't.
I
Don't say
would.
shh to me.
Absolutely, I would.
I would.
No, you would. Oh my god,
Yeah,
that's a fucking joke.
I would just say
You guy would not say shh to another man, dude. Are you kidding me?
don't take little things like that so personal, and we can get through this a lot easier. I mean, whether it goes back and forth, whoever does it, you know, the person.
He's talking to me like I'm a little kid, dude. I would smack his face if he did this to me in real life.
Is that a threat?
Smack.
Is that a threat?
No, I'm just saying what would happen.
Regardless, I'd like
That's
to move
fair.
past any triggering content here. If you could not try to push each other's buttons in a way that's going to derail the conversation. You know, push each other's buttons argumentally, if you can. That'd be best. Otherwise,
Who would you say is more condescending,
not
him or
gonna
me?
get anywhere here. That's really not the point of the debate. The point here is just to argue these points of flat Earth versus globe, and you know, if there's a little flourish on the end of sentences both ways, that makes for good content. But I don't think it's the point of the debate. Chat's torn. Chat loves it and chat hates it at the same time. So you know.
Generally.
Mm-hmm.
So when I said that ether is not magnetism, I'm talking about the ether put forth in things like the Michelson and Morley tests. They are not treating ether and magnetism the same. That's what I mean when I say that. You don't need to get bent out of sorts saying that I'm strawmanning you. Just explain your position, that you think that ether is different than what you brought up in your opener. Okay, you don't believe.
No, I
in
did
your
not
opener.
say that is not. I did not say it was my position.
Okay, what is your position?
I literally just said ether is everything. So the vortex is one of the etheric modalities, basically.
Ether is everything. Can you elaborate?
Bro, that is the most. It's a unified field theory. It's so simple. In your model, you have lots of different fields. In mine, just the ether.
Okay, so we have a magical hand wavy of ether. Is that what we're saying? That you can just say it's ether and explain it away?
I'm not
That's
even
what it sounds
using
like.
this as an, I'm not using this as an argument. That's just my position. You're trying to figure out my position.
Your position is whatever I want, I can say ether, and we don't understand it.
Bro, what? Oh my god. All right, how about we pick one of the more simple topics, one of the things you presented.
Okay, great. Let's go with which one do you want? Which one do you like better? Boats disappearing below the horizon?
I like the star rotations.
Star rotation? Okay, let's talk about star rotations. How can you explain the southern star rotations on your model?
Explain them? At different areas, you see that rotation in the sky.
So you can't. Explain how we see those rotations. How is it that we can, how is it that we can stand in the southern hemisphere and see stars rotate around a central point, and then in the northern hemisphere see them rotate around a different central point, as is required by the globe? And I don't know how it would work in your model, since you say that your model isn't what the other flat earthers ever have. What is your model? How do the stars move in your model?
How do they move?
Yeah. Can you explain it?
I was about to answer, but then you said another random question. That was weird.
I didn't say a question. It's weird that you would say I said a question.
You just said how? What?
What?
Bro, you asked first, how can you see that from those positions? How does that work? And then now how they move. Those are a lot of different questions. So the main thing is the globe model treats all the stars as basically line of sight, where you see them. If you shot like a bullet that traveled infinitely straight, infinitely far, you're gonna hit the thing you see in the sky. In most flat earthers models, except for Facebook flat earthers, we understand that basically the globe is a reverse engineered from optics, and we have lots of curved vision. So if you're seeing something in the sky, it's not in that position. That's just how, you guys have standard refraction. So literally, there's just always refraction, right? So you're never seeing anything travel straight. So to say how can you see this from here? It doesn't basically. It only works as a globe proof and a debunk of flat Earth if you're basically treating everything in the sky in a flat Earth model as you treat it in the globe model, which is not how you do that.
Okay, so that didn't explain anything. So the problem is with standard refraction, we know how refraction works. We can measure refraction. We know how light travels through the atmosphere. We can predict this. We can measure it. We see and we know how light travels through the atmosphere. That's something that we know because we've measured it, we've tested it, we know it. Now, what you have to do is provide some way that the stars are bending around backwards or however they need to bend in order to go around in a central point in the southern hemisphere. Because all you've said is, it works, trust me, bro. But you haven't actually presented how it works. What is bending the light? What is causing them to go around in the circle? How can we test this instead of saying the Earth is flat, we need it to be flat, therefore it works? Explain.
I didn't say any of that, but the audience is listening, so they know I didn't say those things. So
Like what?
I didn't say any of the things you just said. So as far as how you guys said you say such vague things, and can you go into any of the things you said? We tested how the light is traveling. How do they test how the light is traveling?
We can go out and measure the atmospheric conditions, and we can see how the light is moving as it gets to our eyes, and we can see what happens as how the atmosphere changes. Do you disagree? Do you disagree with that?
So you're looking at temperature readings and pressure readings from something?
Lots of different readings for the atmosphere, yeah.
Okay, so but you're not actually following the path of the light, right? You're just assuming you have enough information.
Well, we know where the object is physically because we can go and touch the object, and then we can see back over here where it appears to be, and there is some bending of the light. We know that light bends towards the denser medium, and so as we get denser mediums, we know that the light is bending in this direction. There is nothing in that we know of that is going to make the stars rotate around a central point. That's for you to explain on your model.
Dude, are you trying to scattergun random things? It's so hard to
You asked for an explanation. I gave you an explanation. Stop complaining about the explanation.
You ended it with how does the vortex?
No, I asked again, how does the stars move around in the central or around a central point?
It's not even what we were talking about. I was asking how you guys know.
That is what we were talking about.
Traveling.
That's what you were asking.
It's part of it, but you're just spiraling in random different things, dude. You say 100 baseless assertions, and then you just have a random question that.
And you have just complained about it the entire time. I'm not doing that.
We're just trying to stay on one thing at a time. We're just trying to
one thing. The stars going around the circle. How do you do it on a flat Earth?
I just asked you a question and you didn't answer it though.
You asked me a question. You said, how do we know that light travels that way? And then I explained it. And then I again asked you, how does the stars moving around the southern hemisphere work on a flat Earth? I explained how we knew the motion, or knew how light bends, because we can observe it and we can test it. I explained that. And then you said you were scattergunning me. And then I asked again, how do stars rotate around the Sigma Octantis, or the central point in the south? How does that happen on a flat Earth? You need to explain that.
Can we get to that after we figure out how we know how the light is traveling?
I just explained it. We know that light. We know. Okay, so you said explain how light. We know what light bends. Okay, now I'll explain it, and you're going to say scattergun. Now, we know that light bends because light bends towards the denser medium.
Yeah, that's the basics. Yes,
we can measure the atmosphere, and we can see what the atmospheric conditions are, and we can look and see where that object is, that we know where it is, because you asked me again you asked me for the second time to explain it, and then you again said you're saying it again.
I was trying to go deeper, see if you had any more information, and maybe you could answer my specific questions, but you just repeated the same thing.
You asked the same thing.
So as far as we agree, light bends towards a denser medium, right? We know we can trust the temperature readings and the pressure readings of the atmosphere because we can actually validate that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but for you believe that they go to space, and then after the atmosphere.
Where did you bring space into this?
Because we're talking about things in your space in the sky.
Talk about moving away from other things.
That's what we're talking about. Those stars.
How does it work on the flat Earth?
We're talking. Oh my God!
How does it work on the flat Earth? You're trying to move now over to space. How do we know that space is a vacuum?
Come on. We have ADHD.
Come on.
Do you feel like you can handle that line of questioning?
My handle is called ADHD.
Are you tapping out? I can explain how the stars might be moving on flat Earth.
Thank you. That's what I've been asking. Explain how it works on flat Earth. Go.
Let's start there.
And then are we going to go back? And then are we going to go back to what I was trying to unpack
with
you?
No, my initial question was how do they work on the flat Earth? That was the initial question. And you said, well, how does that? No.
How does it work on flat Earth? You're getting very agitated.
How does it work on flat Earth? No, how does it work on flat Earth?
I'm going to answer that. He needs to relax.
How does it work?
I'm going to tell you, but let me just explain what I was saying from the last topic before we move to a different topic.
No. So this is the original topic. I said you choose.
He doesn't want to let me.
Well,
I said you choose.
Could we start at the stars working on flat Earth and then work our way back? Does that make sense?
I guess.
Just so we're not skipping.
And then when I try to go deep in that one, he's going to bring up some random other question. I'm going to have to answer that, and then that's apparently the topic.
I don't do that. That's what
you just did that. It's recorded forever.
The original topic was, do stars rotate? How do they rotate around the central point?
Okay, so
I asked you that 10 minutes ago.
All right, let's start. Right.
So me trying to explain how that might work in a different model, I have to basically explain to the audience and you that you have an assumption that the starlight is traveling straight. So based on what you see at different places, it can only work on one model that basically treats everything as a basically geometrically solid model where there's not much refraction going on with pretty much everything outside the atmosphere. So that's his assumption that basically there's a space vacuum. That's why they make videos of going to these places, so you can trust them that this light from these fucking etheric anomalies in the sky is basically traveling in the direction they say they are. But like he said, he admitted all he has is atmospheric temperature readings, pressure readings, and then he just assumes that the rest is a vacuum after that, so he can assume that the light is only bending a little bit. Now, in my model, it would be more dense. It would get more. There would be more and more. It'd be more and more electrostatic. It doesn't turn into a vacuum. It just gets more charged, and there might be more refraction going on. So something like Sigma Octantis could be a mirror reflection of the north one. It could be. It might be a different one. We're not looking at the same sky in in these models. In your model, you're just looking through space, and everything is geometrically line of sight where you see it at different places. In my model and many other people's models, there is basically the stars and where they are has no relevance to measuring the Earth's shape, because We don't know the mediums. We can't travel to them. That's why you have to believe Freemasons go to space and promise you that it was a vacuum.
What a scattergun of topics there that
I was
was.
so on topic.
It was not on topic.
I gave them all the information.
You went into like Freemasonry there at the end. So okay, so
we can harp on?
you didn't give me how it works though. You said that it does work because
I didn't say it does. I didn't say it does work.
Well, we know it works because we can see it. So how does it work?
Yes, it happens, but it doesn't mean I have to know how it happens because you believe you trust astronauts, Freemasons that go to space and told you how it works. I don't know how it works.
Why do you
I've
keep
never
going
gone
there? You keep going
What?
off topic. Okay, so
It's not off topic.
You said that you don't have an explanation.
No.
You don't have. Do you agree that you
I have
do
different
not have
theories.
An
I don't
explanation?
have I don't know. I don't know. I have theories.
Okay, great. Let's go to the next topic.
That was your exclusive proof.
Yeah, we got
so
about 23
No, that
minutes
wasn't
left.
my exclusive proof.
I was
That
more
was-
interested. I was more interested in the equatorial star trails.
Oh, the equatorial star trails? Okay, what about them?
Why do they converge and diverge at the equator?
Converge and diverge. What do you mean converge and diverge?
What I habla español. Se ponen más cerca y después se spreading.
Interesting. Would you consider that condescension on your part?
I said it in English and you said, what do you mean?
Okay, right. What do you mean they converge and diverge? What do you mean by that?
When you're looking up at the celestial equator,
Uh-huh.
stars converge, diverge.
Oh, yeah, because it's a globe. Because
it's
as
a globe?
as the globe
It's
is spinning, you're moving on it, and as things come, they come up and around. That's just how that's how perspective works. As an airplane flies over you, it's going to go up and around. That's something that is expected on the globe Earth because they come up and around as they get closer to you. Right, just like train tracks work. Why do train tracks converge and diverge as they come towards you and then go away from you?
That is not analogous at all.
Okay, that's cool.
You're saying the reason is because of the spin and the axis from the spin, right? That you're looking at the sky.
Well, yeah, because as we're going,
Right, so it has nothing to do with train
stars,
tracks and perspective.
Calm
it's
down.
only
That's an analogy. Do you know what an analogy
I know
is?
it's not an analogous analogy.
What's an analogy? Okay,
Okay, so
you can
this
say
only
it's not
we agree.
analogous. That's okay.
The train tracks has to do with perspective. This is an anomaly at the equator only, correct?
I still am unsure what you're trying to say.
He doesn't want to answer because it refutes his
Can I
analogy
share my
that was
screen
not
and get
analogous.
some clarification, dude?
Oh, you're
okay.
fun, dude. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
you're fun 'cause you don't
I
answer
debate way better
questions.
Glovers on Discord, so like.
Oh,
like me too.
yeah, over somewhere else. I do much better than this. Okay, so show me in this picture here. What are you talking about? Are you talking about
This
how
is
they
a
go?
bad picture, dude. This is a bad picture. This is a
I know
better.
the quality
This
is
is
not
not a
very good.
picture of. This is like a 360 camera, and it's like.
Yep. Yeah.
This is too confusing. That's not real. That's not the real thing we're looking at. Well, do you have a picture of real equatorial star trails?
Go ahead and pull it up if you don't like mine.
Okay.
The reason that this looks distorted is because it's a 360 camera and we're getting the whole horizon in front of you and behind you, and they're flattening it out so you can see it flat on a screen. But this is what you would see is the stars would go up and around you. The ones that were coming straight up would come up and around over you, and as you get further and out, they start rotating around until they hit that center point, which this is required on a globe. This is, if it were a globe, just by it being a globe that spins, this is how it would work. This is not something that can be explained or has been, because he already said he didn't know. It's not something that it can be explained on a flat earth, because when I asked, he said, I don't know.
Sorry, I'm looking for my folder for equatorial star trails. No, I can find it. Might as well just Google it, I guess.
How much longer do we have until questions?
19 minutes and 30 seconds.
Sweet. Does anyone have any good jokes to fill the dead air while he looks for this picture?
Well, we're not really a joke channel, but as far as filling the air, everybody could like, share, subscribe, and then if you do subscribe as a member, you'll be able to watch the DebateCon 8 live streams this coming July, and that's going to be helpful if you can't make it. It's going to be a really fun debate conference. So what exactly were you looking up again, Eamon?
Oh, I'm not looking up anything. He
is?
He's looking up something.
Got it. All right, we're sharing his screen now.
Can you see that picture?
Yes,
Yep.
I can.
So only at the celestial equator you see basically this. It's not a great picture. I wish I had better ones. Pretty much at your zenith, the stars will be the stars next to the celestial equator will be closest to it. When the stars move or the Earth spins, depending on if you're crazy or intelligent, the stars will basically separate from their position, from their distance from the celestial equator as they're farther away on both sides. So he said that this has to do with railroads. It has nothing to do with railroads. It has to do with, like, if this was what? That's what you said.
I didn't say it has to do with railroads.
Well,
Railroads
it has to do like railroads.
Don't strawman me. You've been complaining about strawmans this whole time, and then you said I tried to say it was railroads.
Right. I simplified that too much.
Me?
I simplified it too much. I'm trying to like get into a lot of things. So he said that, like when you look at a train tracks, when they get closer in the distance, that's perspective. He said that has something to do with this. Has nothing to do with this. To prove what the globe's excuse is for this, that the Earth spin is causing it, you would basically have to spin a camera and show that at the center of vision of the camera, when you spin it, you get converging and diverging of visual space in the feed. There's no videos like that.
So you're saying because you haven't seen a video of someone doing this with just a regular camera and a ball, then that means, therefore, this is not a globe? Because you haven't been shown specifically someone doing it with a camera just spinning it. Is that what you're claiming?
You said it happens because you're at the equator on the globe, and the globe is spinning along, the axis of the equator, basically. And so, therefore, when you spin, this effect needs to happen you're basically at the 90 degrees. Are you looking at which ChatGPT, looking at a better excuse?
Oh, no, I'm going to see if I can find a video of that real quick. Know how you took like 5 minutes to find a single video, and then I start typing on my computer, and you're like, well, you're looking at ChatGPT for an excuse? No, I'm looking at, to see if I can find real quickly a video of someone doing this. But your excuse for why this isn't true is because you haven't seen a video of someone doing this with just a camera, therefore it doesn't work. So if I were to go and do this and put lights on my ceiling and spin a camera on a ball and it does this, would you then say that it is not flat? Is that what your assertion is?
No, it has nothing to do with flat versus globe. It has to do with how your model works with as far as your explanation for this phenomenon. And please do that. There's no video showing that effect that you guys claim.
There's no videos. None.
None that I've seen. Have you seen one?
None that you... Now, you can say none that you've seen.
That's what I said.
That is a good... No, you just said none.
Okay,
I pressed you on it.
Yes.
Okay, so don't make baseless assertions.
You get a point.
Don't make baseless assertions.
This is good stuff. So while you look for that, there's a lot of other, strange things that happen at the equator. The hurricanes don't cross the equator. Why does that?
Because of the Coriolis effect. Yeah, that's expected.
Stops hurricanes from crossing.
Yes, because the reason is because hurricanes will always spin in one direction in the northern hemisphere, and they always spin in the other direction in the southern hemisphere. And as they cross, when they go towards the equator, they would have to start spinning the other direction, and that will fizzle themselves out.
Great.
So if they try and get close, they will start to fizzle out because of the Coriolis effect.
Great. So we could test these. So you've got two explanations for these two things that the globe claims. It makes sense. but no actual tests reproducing these effects. So maybe you look it up, maybe a glober tries this. I'm not going to do, there's more interesting things I want to do as far as experiments. But what you guys would need to do to show this is basically make like a sphere. Sorry, it's loud. So you would have to make a sphere with like an enclosed, enclosed like glass or plastic, sphere around like another sphere. Get some like fumes or of some kind of gases that you can see, and then spin it, and then show that the Coriolis is caused by spin in your model. Show basically hurricanes only forming on the north and south of the hemispheres, and none of them crossing the equator. That's one thing you would need to do, because that's a very simple thing you could do to prove what you're saying has any validity. And then also with the the camera, spin it in a circle and show this converging and diverging. So these things can't be reproduced. They just claim they can happen at the globe scale. They're not gonna. This guy's not gonna do this. He's not gonna do that. He's looking for a video. I do lots of experiments. You're not gonna do this.
I don't do experiments. How do you know I don't do experiments?
I'll give you $100 if you do one of these. No,
Fantastic.
The camera
I look forward to the $100. So you just said I don't do experiments.
The camera one.
Okay.
I'll give you.
I was looking forward to that easy $100.
I'll keep the $100 bet, but you have to do the easier one would be the spinning a camera, right?
I'll do that.
I'll give you $100 if you actually show converging and diverging, but not just if you do it.
Oh, fantastic! If I actually prove it, you'll give me $100, and then will you recant flat Earth?
Yes, I won't be a flat earther anymore because of an optical thing you showed.
Oh,
which wouldn't
I am so glad that you said that. That's amazing.
That was sarcasm. God, Glober's doing.
Okay. So you're trying to you're saying go give me this thing, but even if you give me this thing, I'm not going to believe.
Now, if there's $100 at stake and he won't do it because he just wants to.
I didn't say
he's going to do it just for the argument.
I will 100% do that. Easy.
Okay, do it.
Easy.
Got it.
So yeah, I'm absolutely will do that.
We got 11 minutes and 45 seconds.
There's just a lot of us. Yeah, a lot of us have been wanting to do that too because it's pretty easy, and none of my flat Earth friends and me have done that. So go ahead and do it, please.
Easy. Okay. And just out of curiosity, what is the flat Earth explanation for why hurricanes don't cross the equator? What's special about the equator?
There's no. So when you talk like that, so there is a globe consensus, because that is like you guys believe in the globe model given to you by an authority that tells everybody the same thing. There is no flat Earth community organization we all appeal to. So when you say that like that, it assumes like my model is the same as like other flat Earthers models, which it isn't.
I'm not debating the other flat Earthers. I'm debating you. What is your explanation?
Yeah. But you keep saying you're the things you're showing are exclusive proofs that don't work on a flat Earth, yet
you can't show any of them working on a flat Earth.
What?
You haven't shown a single one working on a flat Earth.
Shown?
Yeah. You haven't explained. You haven't explained. Yeah, you haven't. You are correct. This is a flat Earth versus globe Earth. You haven't shown a single thing for flat Earth. You've just said not a whole bunch to the globe, and then you also brought up interferometry, which you didn't agree with. You've said that you didn't.
Oh, that is a straw man. Who said I? That's such a vague straw man. What?
You did.
I didn't agree with interferometry. It doesn't even make sense as a sentence.
With all of those experiments, yeah. When I tried to press you on it, you said, "Well, that's actually not my claim."
I agree with the results. The results are the results. I don't share the position of the undulatory or emission theory that they had.
Great.
But okay. More closely related. My position is more closely related to the undulatory. So as far as the equator
shown on the flat Earth.
I'll answer the thing that we didn't, that you asked before. So you said, why do the hurricanes not cross on a flat Earth? So there's lots of things that happen at the equator, right? So at the equator only, the stars converge and diverge. At the equator, hurricanes don't cross on both sides of the equator. And one of the more interesting things is that the satellites, the only geostationary locked satellites in one position, they only put them in the equator.
that didn't answer my
So
question of how.
yeah. So, no, yeah. So I was just listening to
Okay,
something. You're right.
because you
So
went off rapid
so
fire on
yeah.
what was not the topic.
Okay. So I believe that there's like an etheric vortex, right? It's a tornado of the cosmos, and it's going. First of all, that's another topic. So there's a tornado of basically electromagnetic tornado, right? Not etheric because they're separate. He says, with no proof that they're. So at different areas of this tornado, there's a different. Just like with a magnet, right? Right, the center of the magnet, right in front of you, it's going to be the strongest part, but it'll also pull things like weaker on the outskirts. Something like that is going on, and there's something going on at the equator of the celestial equator of this vortex, which basically is like almost like an electromagnetic barrier that basically the atmosphere doesn't cross it because it's being kept in spin on the other sides on the other sides of it, and that's also why I believe that they can stick satellites in the celestial equator.
Huh. Interesting. So you're saying that it's an electromagnetic thing then?
Or etheric electromagnetic, yeah.
Etheric and electromagnetic. Which
I said or.
or okay. So either of those two things it could be, but you're
No,
not
no.
sure.
I'm just saying what we name it. I believe it's all the same thing, right? Do you remember?
Okay. So just saying that everything is ether, and then you can just say it is ether because everything is ether, therefore it is ether.
I didn't say
is
that.
circular.
That's so me
that is
believing
circular.
that. No, I didn't say. I didn't do that. I didn't do that
Yes,
though.
yes.
I didn't make an assertion. I didn't say because I believe everything is ether, then that proves that's
I
caused
think
by.
for the sake of arguing, Ammon, maybe just stick with electromagnetic and see where you go with that. Like just kind of
I don't think he has anything.
put the ether aside. I think he was trying to connect his more larger philosophy there with what he's also
Right.
terming the
I was just
magnetism
trying
part.
to use words that wouldn't trigger him.
But maybe if
put
you
him
just
to-
Right,
stuck
but
with
you
the
can't explain
magnetism
it.
part and then riff off of that, I think that would take up the last 6 minutes here with something interesting, and then we'll
can't
get to the
explain.
Q&A.
I can't explain what.
What electromagnetism is causing the hurricanes to not cross the equator? Do you have any measurements of this electromagnetism? Do you have any cause of this electromagnetism?
Well, I mean, you could put up a balloon with the voltometer, I believe it's called, and you can measure voltage as you go up, 100 volts per meter as you go higher. Every meter you go higher, after the ground's already electrical charge, every 100 meters above the ground, you get another. Every meter above the ground, you get another 100 volts. So the electricity keeps going up as you go farther up. I don't know of anyone that's basically gone so high that like it starts dropping down, which it does in your model that we can pretty much replicate. But with the amateur ones, it just keeps going higher and higher. So I believe that's a measurement of the fact that it's more and more electrostatic as you go higher and higher.
Okay, so how does that make it so hurricanes don't cross the equator? Because yeah, you can say it gets greater as you go higher, but that doesn't explain why the equator is in a special position that when hurricanes travel towards it, they fizzle out. Now, we know they fizzle out because all hurricanes in the northern hemisphere spin one direction, the same direction, always the same direction. All hurricanes in the southern hemisphere spin the other direction, all the same other direction. And so when they get towards the equator, they're going to want to start spinning the other direction. And so the energy that they have as they move up will start to dissipate as it's trying to move the other direction. And the explanation for this is Coriolis. But your explanation is because a balloon rises in you can measure the electromagnetism of a balloon as it rises, then hurricanes still cross the equator? Can you make that make sense?
That is such a straw man, dude. It's like you're just like cherry picking random things I said.
Okay,
and
but
not
explain.
still them. No, it's not your
You
turn.
just
turn
said
talking.
it
It's not
goes
your turn to talk.
higher,
Now your turn to talk
therefore.
again. Are you done, bro? It's like so hard to keep my train of thought when you just start talking again. It's crazy. So Oh, dude, I have no idea what I was gonna say. Dude, you Globers are
Do you want me to
like,
ask the question again?
I think it was about the higher you go, electricity increases, and then what was your question, Eamon?
Yeah, my question is, so when I asked why do hurricanes fizzle out as they go towards the equator, he brought up that you can take
Oh
a
yeah,
balloon
that's what I was gonna
and
say.
measure it as it goes
Got it.
up.
All right,
Okay.
let's see what you.
I remembered what I was gonna say. So first of all, the balloon thing, I was just saying as far as high as we can go, we just measure more and more voltage. That's just so based on deduction. I haven't sent a balloon to even where they've sent them. I've never sent one farther. You're the one that believes lots of things. I don't have a belief. All I have is knowing that people do that and the voltage goes up. So can you not?
Kind of not.
Are you
What?
wheezing?
Am I wheezing?
Anyways, don't lose your
You
train of
you don't
thought.
want me to wheeze?
Don't lose your train of
All right,
thought
so
there.
yeah, so
3 minutes left.
So I'll bet you. So the thing with so you went back to just asserting that the globe model, the Coriolis works like this, and this is why they don't. I said $100 if you get so. I said $100 if you spin a camera and you show converging and diverging, right? And if you have to show that, I'll do $1,000. Maybe I should do like a Witsit. I'll bet you. You want to bet $10,000, bro? Sorry.
I mean, people already call you
I'm still
so
talking.
go for it.
That was not the end of a sentence, bro. So $10,000 to make that globe model with the air and the hurricane like little air fumes that spin in northern and southern hemispheres and don't cross the center. $10,000? Sure. Go ahead and do that. That's crazy. It logically doesn't make sense. Everybody knows you spin up like a toy with like fluids in it. It's just gonna go everywhere. It doesn't matter if you have a constant like spin in one direction. There's not gonna be like a consistent, especially since your Earth is wobbling.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was waiting for you to explain how it works on flat Earth.
Yeah, so
That was the
I
original
refuted
question.
everything
dude.
you said.
That
Obviously,
was
you
the
can't
original question. How does it work on a flat Earth?
I already
And you
gave my
said,
theories.
Let me explain it. Let me explain it. And then
You're
you threw
so
a fit,
mad,
and then you
dude. You're
didn't
so
explain
mad.
it.
Look how mad you are.
Because you can't explain it. You know you can't
I did explain it. I did explain it.
You are an
I did.
anti-truther. You know that.
That's ironic. I did explain it.
That you call yourself an anti-truther?
I-
Yeah, that is ironic.
So I did explain it. I don't have like proof of that. It's circular to say the proof is the thing happening. That's what you guys do. I wouldn't say that. I'm just saying I have a theory, so I explain my theory.
Oh, explain the theory. That's what I've been asking you to do.
Again?
You didn't explain the theory in the first place.
Yes, I did.
No, you just said that the voltage rises as you get higher in the atmosphere.
No, as far as the hurricanes not
that
crossing,
doesn't explain how
such
the
a hard time staying on
hurricanes
topic.
lose. No, this is 100% the exact same topic that we've been on for 10 minutes.
If I wait,
How
you want to make another
does
bet?
it
You want to make another
work?
bet that I can actually make
No,
money
I
from?
want
that
you to let me talk.
So much
How does
gambling
it
this
work
final
on
5
a
minutes.
flat Earth.
Well,
How does it work on a flat Earth?
okay, so we have the. Don't interrupt me, okay? Because you're gonna want to once you get triggered again. Okay, relax. Maybe you should mute up. Okay, so we got the $100 bet. We got the $10,000 bet. I'm not gonna make money off those because it's never gonna like happen or not happen. He's never gonna do anything. Wait, $100. You want to bet $100 that if people rewind, I already explained the question you're asking about how like this Coriolis or how the equator basically stops hurricanes in my flat Earth model.
Sure, I'll send you $100 if they show me how before right now
No.
you have
No.
explained it.
If I've explained it.
Before right now in the video, I will send you $100.
I think
Sick.
if you guys, oh, hold on, we're out of time for the hour now. But if you guys did want to do anything related to going back in the video, I would do it in the next day or two before James puts it behind the member wall. He may or may not do that with this one, but he's been doing it to push our memberships a little more because we really do want people to be able to watch the live streams at DebateCon 8 and sign up for a membership there. But the thing is every YouTube video generally has a chat transcription, and you guys can go in and search it and ask it questions and stuff. So you could look up maybe your keywords, and one of you could clip a video if you see whatever you're claiming there. That could be useful. But I just want to thank you both for going through that hour of open discussion. We got all over the place. That was fun. Chat was loving it and hating it at the same time with every debate. We are going to get into the Q&A now, and doesn't seem like it is too crazy, so I don't have to prioritize by size of chats. We'll just go in order here, guys. And I mean, this isn't necessarily an insult, but it is kind of just a quick little jab. I'll just get through them quickly. Don't feel, yeah,
Bring it on.
yeah, don't feel too
I love
required
the cheesy,
to
bad insults.
give it a
I'm
detailed
good
response.
with insults too. Go for it. They paid for it, so
Yeah.
insult me.
All right, so this one, oh, guys, here, I'm posting the poll right now. That's in the chat, before I forget. All right, so first one is from QOps Mommy for 5. It says, I know I gave you permission to stay up late tonight and play with your little friends, but aren't you going to eat the Hot Pockets I made for you?
So I'd like to answer that. I'd like to answer. Can I have 10 minutes to answer why I wouldn't eat Hot Pockets and why Globers would eat Hot Pockets? Because
I'll give you...
That's what I had for dinner
I'll give you
right before
30
we
Yeah,
started.
I'd assume you would, because you would eat.
That's what
why
I
don't you
had
read
right
the
before we
ingredients on
started.
those, dude?
I'll give
It's
you
crazy that
30
you guys would eat those things.
seconds.
No, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
It's no. I would never. I mean, I assume like a real truther would never eat a Hot Pocket. It's only for Globers to eat such
I
toxic.
thought you were an
garbage.
anti-truther.
I was called an anti-truther for claiming that TFE, the fake experiment, the final experiment was fake by the flat earthers that went, and his wife. Well, I slid in her DMs and he cried.
Okay, next one is one more from QOps Mommy for 5. It says, QOp Pumpkin, did you remember to wear your retainer? I'm doing your
Bro.
laundry and a bunch of your socks are stuck together again? Question mark.
Don't know what that's about.
Okay. Next one is from Inquisitive Infidel for 5. It says, QOp, why debate if none of the evidence presentable online would be considered good by you? Thank you for the more serious question.
Can you read what is that? Is the evidence of what? Globe Earth?
Yeah, I guess the people like Amon's evidence that he would present. Why debate if none of that evidence that's presentable would be considered good by you?
Because we're debating if it's actually exclusive proof and evidence of just one model. That's literally what I was trying to. That's what literally we're doing the whole time. That's what a debate is, bro.
And you didn't show that it was possible on the flat Earth. You just said.
I didn't show anything.
Yeah, I know.
I was talking.
I know you didn't show anything.
But I'm not. You're not showing. You have a cartoon behind you. You're not showing the globe model either.
Okay, I made several claims about the globe Earth. You said I don't have a model. You're strawmanning my
claims too.
model. You didn't, though.
Okay. Well, it's a debate. I'm not like gonna have like scientific proof of all the things I'm saying when we're debating.
I just want any scientific proof behind what you're saying.
Okay, this one I think is more from, or for Ammon here. And just so you guys know, so I'll get ahead of it. You're both welcome to comment on either person's directed questions. One's directed to Ammon, you can respond Q, and vice versa. But we'll just not spend a ton of time on it unless it's a stimulating, good conversation. But LJ69 says, why hasn't space tech improved since the 70s? Weird.
It has.
Take that, LJ.
What? It
Q, you want to comment on that?
Oh, me?
Yeah, you're welcome to.
Well, we can't test what the technology actually is, but what's funny is like Elon Musk rockets look exactly like they drew them in cartoons, like back in the 60s or whatever, like with Disney and Werner von Braun drew that exact rocket in his book. And in his book, Elon is the guy that basically is in Mars, and this is before Elon Musk probably knew he wanted to go to space.
All connected. LJ69 also said, NASA is just the adult version of Disneyland. Sheep emoji, ram emoji, sheep emoji, ram emoji. Not sure about the ram relevancy there. Male sheep. Anyways. Jim Daniels, 1532, since 5, he says, QOp, could you provide evidence that has been peer-reviewed instead of your own personal opinion? Thanks.
That's literally fallacious to claim that because it's peer-reviewed. It's like, it's basically proven. That's literally appeal to consensus or appeal to like, ad populum or one of those.
I disagree with both of those fallacies that you threw out, but I mean, no one's going to peer review a flat Earth paper anyways, so it's just not going to happen.
Nice.
All right, Jack Fetter says, so adorable, QOP is playing with the big kids. You're such a big boy, QOP. Yes, you are.
It's like literally my biggest fan. Jack Fetter spends so much money to talk to me, bro.
Just take him on a date already.
I mean, he's donating to someone he likes. So.
Old men.
Is that? Do you know that for a fact? That's Jack Fetter. I don't know who the guy is. I just remember maybe a couple comments from him last time. But QOP's mommy sent another 5. Said, remember what I taught you about interrupting, little guy. Wait your turn and have your big boy words ready.
I really think this makes him feel better.
Thank you, QOP's mom, for the super chat. A lot of familial support here. Jim Daniels for 5 says, claims without evidence can be dismissed without evidence. Good grief. Good. It's just a general statement. Swaldrop 82 for 10 says, easy to argue for flat Earth when you can just say ether to explain everything. The problem is you can't prove the ether, but yet you can repeat precession from a pendulum and see the effect based on lat.
Okay, but if I have an explanation for, like I said, no one's listening. So different latitudes in the below the vortex, there's different forces, so the pendulum would be affected differently at each of those. So it's circular to claim the effect we're looking at is proof of the theory that we gave for it. So yeah.
But the problem with that is that the effect is greatest at the equator, and so it starts like at 0 at both of the poles, and then it gets greater and greater until it gets to the equator, and then the equator, that effect of precession is the most, which doesn't make sense for your vortex of magic ether on the flat Earth.
But if the vortex has the strongest force at the equator, why doesn't it make sense?
Prove it.
I know that's a different thing though. So it not making sense and having to prove it are two different things.
This is a debate. We're asking for proof.
And you have proof that the pendulum is caused because we're spinning right now?
It's a good explanation. I mean, it's just as much proof as what you gave.
I get points for that. I get a point for that.
Interesting. Okay.
Good job.
I mean, it's perfectly explained by just having the flat Earth.
You already lost that one. You definitely lost that one.
It's just by nature of having the Earth spin, that explains it. You have to have some magical ether that you cannot prove be the cause of this effect that magically gets greater in the equator. Thank
you for reminding me that I can't prove the ether. Like I said, the magnetic field is the ether field. I can show the magnetic field. No, I'm still talking. Don't interrupt people.
One more
Don't interrupt
here,
people.
and then we'll go on.
Like I was saying, what was I saying? So, you guys grant that is the magnetic field that you're literally looking at, right? I'm saying, I won't even say ether. Just the magnetic field is real and causes things, right? You guys don't have anything showing a space-time field. So you guys are literally the ones that need to prove your field. There's no proof of the space-time field. There's proof of the magnetic field. You can look at the geometry.
I can prove the globe without using space-time. Can you prove the flat Earth without evoking magical ether magnetism?
It's nothing magical. It's real. You can show it.
I mean, you said that it's everything, and then you said that it has this vortex that we cannot measure. Have we measured this vortex?
And what would you
have we measured this vortex?
Well, I mean, non-directly, just like you guys measure things and claim it's like, caused by the globe spin.
What's a non-direct measurement of the vortex?
All the same thing, bro.
What is it?
Everything, like all interferometry, the Foucault's pendulum.
That's a non-direction measurement of this electromagnetic vortex.
It's like not. It's like a.
We can measure electromagnetics. We can measure electromagnetism, right? We have the tools to do that. If there is this vortex that was the super strong vortex that gets really strong in the equator, wouldn't we measure electromagnetic anomalies in the equator?
There are anomalies.
Like all across the entire equator, it should be super strong because it's strong
There's
enough to fizzle out a hurricane.
What I'm saying is whatever is happening at the equator causes the hurricanes not to be there. So that would be the effect that you're
what's
measuring
happening
if
then?
you're just doing circular reasoning, which is what you guys do all the time.
No, you're doing circular reasoning.
No, I literally admitted we don't have direct proof because we didn't actually fly. Flat earthers don't have a spaceship. You guys have the spaceships. You guys believe they're real. We don't have one. So how would we actually prove what I'm saying?
Okay, so you're saying that you cannot measure it, but you still believe that it's there because it has to be there in order for it to work on flat Earth. Right, that is circular reasoning.
All right, I'm going to circular reason my way back to these questions here. Jack Fetter sent another 5, and he said, "Host, you've brought an infant to debate. Read or don't read. It's really hard to not critique a toddler trying to argue big boy topics." The not there really kind of messes me up. But thank you, Jack.
That comment itself was immature, so that's kind of ironic that you're saying that I'm immature.
It's weird that you assumed that was about you.
That's the
You
same.
literally
That's
just
the
said it was
same
Jack.
Jack Fetter. Yeah. MC Tune for 5. Thank you, MC. I appreciate that. He said, "Flatties, after this silly showing, you can be Flurf Neo and take down the globe final boss." MC Tune, email James to set it up. It's always out there. Email James if you want to come debate something on the channel. Right. Jack sent another 5, and he said, "QOP, even if you are right about mirror image rotation in the south, the stars are all different. Please explain."
Like I said, that was just a theory. I haven't scrutinized this footage to look if they're actually like how they're different. There could be different mediums causing whatever you see. I have not experienced flying to above the highest parts of the atmosphere where you guys claim space is. So how would I know what we're looking at really?
Right. All you have is guesses that you don't know and you cannot substantiate.
Yeah, theories, yeah. And
Guesses.
I don't claim
They're
my
not even
theories.
theories, they're guesses.
Okay, so here's the thing, right? So you're not bringing any proof of your model, but the model is extremely created, and it matches, and it's literally made to match all the things that happen. So we could make a model that does that in many different ways, and it just matching what happens doesn't prove the model. That's like circular reasoning.
But in the most uncomplicated way possible. We just, by nature of it being a globe, it matches everything. It matches the star trails. It matches the Coriolis effect. It matches the boats going up the horizon. Just
right.
by it being a globe,
right?
That's all we have to do is it is a globe and everything matches. You have to go and evoke magical ethereal winds that you cannot prove.
You talk so much and you don't say much. I gave you two very big bets to prove that these things that happen in your globe model happen in reality. Which one are you going to do? Either of them? That's a lot of money. I'm claiming.
Why are you changing the topic again? You haven't brought anything up. You haven't brought any evidence. You haven't brought anything. You keep saying, "I don't know. I don't know how it works. I cannot prove it." Why would you believe in something you cannot prove that you don't know?
Now everyone knows that when I assumed you weren't going to do these things, that I was correct.
All right, moving on to the next question here. We got Rosanti Gold for 10. Thank you. Says Q, "I'll agree Earth is flat if you go tonight and take a photo of the Gemini constellation. Send it with timestamps and geolocation to MDD for them to post tomorrow. If you can't, why not?" Well, let me answer that first. Probably because James won't post it. But if we did, now we'll go ahead and let him respond to that.
Yeah, I don't know what that's relevant to.
You're not even going to try and understand that? He paid a lot of money for that, and you're just going to say, nah.
Taking a picture of a constellation?
Yeah.
What would that prove?
The Earth was flat.
How?
So this is the same argument of on a flat Earth you should be able to see infinitely far.
A straw man. I didn't understand. I should have assumed there was some...
if you don't give us a model. It cannot be a straw man if you don't give us a model.
Yes, it totally can. You can have not a position and be straw man into a position.
No.
Yes, that's wrong too. Dude, you lost so many points, dude. Is there a counter? I think I won already.
That's a different type
Is
of
there a
debate.
counter? You're the only one counting.
And I got a point from the random super chatter that said a straw man. Thank you for helping me understand the straw man. I'm sure you can understand straw mans better than I can.
All right, my
Weird
mom.
condescension, but okay.
My mum bakes cakes. Sent $2 Australian. Is that what the A? No, Australian would be AUD. Anyway, there's an A. $2, I'll say. Why is there an equator on a flat Earth?
Bro, what? Why?
Yeah, why?
Why? Like, why did God do that? You mean how?
No idea.
Why is it a
Physically.
unique position?
Why what?
Why is that a
is it?
unique position?
What is what? I'm so
Why
confused.
is the equator a unique position?
Is that the same question?
Yes.
There's just like a circle above the flat Earth. Like, what is it?
And
What is
why
it wrong?
why is the equator important? Why is there anything that changes over the equator?
That's a different question. That's not what he asked. He said, "Why is there an equator?"
Yeah.
All right, this is weird, dude. Why is there an equator?
You can just say you don't understand the question. It's fine.
It's not that I don't understand. It's like such a vague, like stupid question.
Only for those that don't understand.
Or we hear you're clicking, dude. Like,
All
Do you
right.
not
playing
like
video
that?
games? Are you playing like
No, I'm
video
playing with the
Crimson
Walter
Desert.
Bislin curve thingy.
Show your
Playing
Do you
Crimson
want me to
Desert.
show it?
All right. Next one is Mosey Cott for 3 says, I cannot decide who is winning. ... Only joking. Smiley face. Thank you, Mosey Cott. Retired 2920 says, explain why on a flat Earth there's not one latitude line that goes around the South Pole.
Bro, what? So many like strange, like just like you're just. I mean, that's all Globers do. They just basically try to hold flat earthers to basically all the physics and all the beliefs that the globe model has. Like it's so
We're
ridiculous.
trying to hold you to physics? Yeah, absolutely.
No, I didn't
we
say
are.
that. I didn't say that.
Do you want to bet $100 that if we rewind the tape, you'll say Globers are just trying to hold me to all the physics and stuff?
And there was something else after that, right?
Physics and stuff.
Of the globe model.
Okay.
That's important, right? So you got to listen more.
Physics. It's just how
You gotta
physics
listen.
works.
Of the globe model, I said.
Physics.
Of the globe model.
There's no physics is always the same.
So what is you said there was no proof of space-time before.
When did I say that?
I'm pretty sure you said
Are you
there's
just
no...
lying now? Why did you bring that up? That's one, it's a lie, and
That's
two,
your-
what does that have to do with anything
That's
that
your
we're talking
physics
about
and your
right
globe
now?
model, space-time.
But did I say the space-time doesn't exist?
No, you didn't. I didn't say you said that, dude. You're bad at
you
listening. I
did.
didn't. No, I just said you.
What did you say?
I believe you claimed that you didn't have any proof of space-time.
Nope, I didn't claim that.
Well,
It's a weird thing for you to just bring up and lie about.
like I said,
I feel
you
like-
guys could go back, check the transcript after this ends. You could download it, copy paste it before it goes back behind a members wall, unless you're members. But I'm gonna get to the next question. We have just about 4 or 5 more here. So if anyone wants to get one in before we end the stream, go ahead and do it now. This one is from the House Valerion. I hope I said that right. For 10, thank you for your super chat. It says, Flurf, how do you have an atmospheric gradient when you insist the Earth doesn't move and gravity doesn't exist? Air can't gradient without force or movement of the domain.
It's like this. You just did the same thing that I said the other guy just did. You're just like assuming things like have to be the same as they are on the globe model and the flat Earth model, so they're not going to work on flat Earth, obviously.
No, we know that there's a gradient.
say-
Explain why
I
the
didn't-
gradient works. That's the question.
Okay, but I have no problem with there being a gradient. I don't know how it's exclusive to the globe
But
model.
explain it. Explain how it works on the flat Earth. His assertion is that it is only exclusive on the globe. Your job is to explain how it works on the flat Earth. That's what his question is. We know that it exists. We know that the globe has an
Well, you gotta
explanation
repeat
for
yourself,
it.
dude. You already said this. You repeat so many things, like every time you talk, dude. It's so hard to like talk to you.
Do you not like when I repeat things so
So-
you understand them?
No, they're very simple things. You just repeat them for no reason. So
Okay, so answer the question.
bro, dude. You need to get out more, dude. You need to socialize more. It's very strange how you act. So it's it's weird, dude.
Yeah,
Um,
it's weird that you have just random condescensions. Oh, you need to get out and socialize more. It's a weird condescension
it's
to
like you
just
just it's just
make.
a lot of like I don't know. I don't think you would do this stuff in public.
Why are you insulting me
Um,
just out of the blue?
it's just very bizarre the way that you have to like who in real life, right? I'm gonna go somewhere and someone's gonna just keep repeating this thing that they just said a second time before like I respond to the thing they already said. Who would do that?
So we're not having an actual. This is
Oh,
this
so
is
this
a
isn't real. So
debate,
you'd be
and
weird. So you're saying you don't act like
okay,
this in real life. Okay,
calm
okay.
down, calm
Well,
down.
So the gradient,
Let me explain.
technically
Let
the
me
debate's
explain.
over. We're in the question and answers part, and there's also kind of a limited amount of time for it tonight. But I just wanted to make sure if we're gonna move on from atmospheric gradient question, or
No, so I
I
gotta.
still want
I
him to
mean,
explain
so
it.
okay, well then let him
trying to.
explain it, and then we'll just start here.
All right. So gravity, I believe, is etheric. So that means, Ammon, don't contain yourself. Contain yourself. Uh,
Mute yourself
literally
until
can't
he's
even
done.
like so it's an electromagnetic, whatever you want to call it. So it's everything is being electrically pulled down, right? So what's holding atoms together? I don't believe like they're actually particles, but it's like it's basically also like electricity. So the gradient itself also would be caused by the pretty much the um, all. It's like like ferrofluid like getting close to a magnet. That's basically what the gradient is being caused by. It's being caused by, I believe, electromagnetic effects, and in the globe model, it's obviously different.
All right, you can unmute now if you want to have a quick comment, and then we'll move on to the next question. I'll give you
Um,
a solid 45 seconds to respond if you'd like,
That's
uninterrupted.
okay. It's an easy response. Um, that doesn't explain why there's a 9.8 meter per second acceleration down. Magnetism doesn't have that same effect. It affects things differently based off of how much. Oh, sorry, electromagnetism affects things differently. So that can't be the explanation.
Would you agree that electromagnetism is a stronger force than gravity?
That doesn't mean that gravity does not exist.
How do you separate the two?
How do you separate the two? Electromagnetism only affects some things. Gravity affects everything.
You're just saying that, but how do you actually know that?
Know what?
How,
Which one?
how do you know it's not just like an magnetic effect that's happening, to things in a downward
Because it would
fashion?
affect things differently. Things have different effects to electromagnetism. Everything falls at 9.8 meters
Yeah,
per second,
yeah,
no
that's
matter
circular
what.
reasoning.
No,
That's
no, no.
circular reasoning.
It's not circular reasoning. Everything falls at 9.8 meters per second, no matter what. Electromagnetism
I don't
wouldn't
disagree with
cause
that.
that to happen.
You're just a baseless assertion, dude.
All
What
right.
I
was
asked
the
you
basis
how
assertion?
I asked you how you prove that gravity isn't electromagnetic, and you're just like it's just baseless assertions, and then saying like so. The main thing is like if there was like different size magnets everywhere, obviously there would be one of the magnets would have the strongest effect. So all these different forces that we're feeling, and how would you disprove? How do you guys like you have no proof that gravity is like caused by space time. You just separate it from electromagnetism because they don't want to explain to you there's a unified field theory.
All right,
Because
we gotta move on
electromagnetism
here,
affects
guys.
things differently.
We gotta move on here. We'll leave it at that. So that was from the house. Valerian, old mate, sends $8, and he says, "Well done, QOP. It's an auto win when your opponent ate the globe."
I didn't say it. I didn't make any fat jokes. I didn't make the fat joke.
I made the first one. I know lots about donuts.
I missed that one
See,
somehow.
I
The
didn't do
house Valerian for 5. So thank you again for your second super chat. He said, "If your ether is real, then give a quantifiable unit of ether and how it compares to a unit of charge, a newton, or any fundamental unit of energy."
Um, and that's extremely specific. Like I said, I think all these are different modalities of the ether expressing itself. So there's big magnetic fields, small ones. The atoms are like the smallest ones. Um, the Earth itself would be like the biggest magnetic field. So that's why the gravity caused by that magnet is the one that's consistently affecting everything, and
Okay. Shmuel Sherpling since 13 shekels, I believe. What is more flat, Earth or Uranus? I see what you did there. JSS Tiger for 5 says, why don't flat earthers have a full photo of the flat Earth from the top of the dome?
I don't believe in a dome. I believe in a toroidal field, magnetic field boundary.
Why don't flat earthers have a picture of the full flat Earth from the top of the magnetic total etherical thing?
Because the governments are all globe pushing, Satanists.
Interesting.
That could be another debate topic. Real Harnold since 5, and he says, QOP, what LLM did you use to create your Prezi? It was so obvious you couldn't explain it in your own words or even operate the slides.
Wait, you think it's so good that you don't even think I made it? Also, it's weird. Harnold usually doesn't insult me, but no, I made the presentation. I'm glad you think it's so good that an LLM made it.
I don't believe that. You have screenshots of text. It was definitely, I have that in my notes too, that you used ChatGPT or the LLM to make those.
What?
You have screenshots of text in your Prezi. And I have in my notes as I was taking notes.
Well, but the whole thing isn't like I search certain things like with ChatGPT.
Oh, okay. So the answer was ChatGPT. Okay.
But that doesn't mean that my whole presentation is made by ChatGPT.
Yeah, no, you could see the errors in the text when it wasn't.
Rosanante Gold sent $20 this time to say, Kiko, I didn't make any argument. I asked you to take a picture. I did not characterize your non-existent model in any way. I was inviting you to discover that you can't see Gemini until November and to consider why.
Yeah, I don't believe, like I said, that stars, light travels straight, and then on a flat Earth, you guys believe light should travel straight, so you should see Paris. That's stupid. Obviously, there's standard refraction, so things are basically curving down into the ground before you see them. The farther they are from you, they curve down into the ground way before they'll ever get to you.
And that causes stars to go in a circular pattern around
I didn't say that.
Polaris. And
I said that's why you can't see. If all the stars that we see are above the flat Earth, I'm saying that's why you can't see them. I didn't say, like, dude, you listen, bro.
Yep.
I didn't say it was proof of a rotation of stars, bro.
But the point is, you can't see that anywhere on Earth.
What?
The Gemini, the whatever star constellation.
You can't see it from anywhere on Earth?
I don't think so. At least I think that's what the point of his comment was.
So is it like a constellation that's gonna reappear? What?
I mean, you can't see all of the constellations all of the time.
If he wants to, elaborate on that in a chat, I'll read his elaboration here before we end. But we got 2 questions left, guys, and then I'll let you shout out your channels and whatnot if we don't get any more. Retired 2920 says, Q, answer the question about the latitude. I think he had sent one earlier. Let's double check here. Retired. Yeah, he said, explain why on a flat Earth there's not one latitude line that goes around the South Pole. So, like, I guess he's saying, like, the entire bottom part of the dome would be the very first latitude number, and why doesn't it? I don't know. That's what I make of it.
Yeah,
I don't understand his point.
I don't have a map or knowledge of where you see the southern. Is he talking about the southern pole or the celestial pole?
That is. Yeah, I guess he said South Pole, around the South Pole. So.
Oh, just the South Pole? I don't even believe that there is a South Pole. So I don't know what he's talking about. Honestly.
So I guess he's saying that the farthest most. This is the last time I'll try to explain anything that, from my understanding, furthest most point south. If you just pick like an arbitrary south on a flat Earth model, why would it? Why is there not one latitude for that entire ring? Or would there be? It says explain why on a flat Earth there is not one latitude line. I don't know. Maybe he's just assuming there is not one. Maybe there is one on those models. I don't know. I was just trying to do it because he sent 2 super chats, trying to make it make sense. He can chat one more time for free if he's got a clarifying thing before we leave, but I'm gonna leave it at that. Pseudonym 8344 cents. A $2 chat says, at both. When boats sail and disappear, it's under a curve. Okay.
Yep.
Let me double check if he said anything else here. Okay, so Rosanante Gold, who sent that 20 a second ago, said Gemini comes back around in November, sticks around until May. Right now, we're on the other side of the sun from Gemini, so
Yep.
it makes sense how he's saying that.
Yeah. So the clarification is that we can't see Gemini anywhere on the Earth, what shape it is you think it is, anywhere. It disappears. That's expected on the globe because it's on the other side of the sun, and we can't see because it's in the daytime. We can't see past the sun. That's expected on a globe, but the flat Earth that you have given me doesn't have an explanation as to why some of the constellations disappear. It should seem like they should always be there.
Yeah, it seems to you if you just assume, how light is traveling on the flat Earth, like it's traveling like it is in the globe model that they told you. I'm actually not even sure if that's like I have to like check. I've never even heard of that, honestly, so I'll check into like if when you see that, and never heard of that, honestly.
All right. Well, I don't see any other ones coming in at this moment, so I will just call it there. If you guys want to shout out your channels, I appreciate you both coming on and having this debate. We'll start with Ammon. Go ahead.
You can find me. My channel name is ADHD_projects on all platforms. I am specifically on TikTok. I do some YouTube if I feel like it, but most of what I put out there is on TikTok. So ADHD projects or ADHD_projects on all platforms.
All right, Q. Go ahead.
Yeah, check out my channel, QIQOPIP. It's in the info. That channel is like my red pill channel. I cover lots of topics, history. I'm gonna do like a Bible series, which like goes into like the correct translation of the Greek Bible. I'm gonna go in a history series that goes into like the actual evidence that disproves basically every other theory, every other narrative, historical narrative, whether it's Graham Hancock's controlled up ancient aliens type stuff, which has more validity, which makes more sense at least than the mainstream one. But yeah, so a lot of different topics. I made Wits It Cry a couple months ago. I'm gonna put that in a video. That'll be there. Whether it's Graham at the bottom of my channel, there's my other channel which is like light shows and beatboxing. So if you not interested in flat Earth or conspiracy theory stuff and you just like art and music, you should check out that one. Subscribe, share, please. Thank you.
All right, guys, and for the last minute here, we were going to do a quick beatbox battle. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just joking. That's called a callback. Yeah, guys, we appreciate all you for being in the chat. Give yourselves a pat on the back. And then don't miss DebateCon 8 if you can make it. If not, go become a member or show up to the other live stream debates we do here leading up to it, because sometimes people do gift memberships, and if you're in the chat at that time, you have a chance of getting them. I know PS2 Chirper, he's like a wizard. He just comes on, drops a bunch of memberships, and then disappears. I can't even tag him fast enough before he leaves. And then he'll come back at the very end like, "Do you see that?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I saw that. Thank you." So shout out to that guy. I'm sure he'll be here soon. Oh yeah, and shout out to our sponsors for today, or for DebateCon 8. It's going to be Main First Project. We got Yonaguni Sushi Cuisine in Puerto Rico. That is Bob. He's one of our conference managers, event coordinator guys. He helps, and he's got that restaurant. Lives in Puerto Rico. It's in Aguadilla. And then I believe we have one more sponsor. I'm trying to think of who it is. It's kind of a newer one. So I think it's the Roar Project. I don't remember what it stands for, but shout out. And then last but not least, we do have a Facebook if you're a boomer, so you can go check that out. We have a TikTok if you're a Zoomer. And then if you're in, oh, this one's not working, but if you're in LA or Vegas and you want to do live religious debates, like a 8 versus 1, or it's just maybe 10 versus 1, kind of Jubilee style or something of that nature, email the channel and we will reach out to you. That's a good way to get in the space if you're trying to do some in-person stuff. And then last but not least, one more time, like that video, and we will see you guys next time.